John Fogerty, the iconic frontman and songwriter behind Creedence Clearwater Revival, has spent decades grappling with a profound sense of regret and humiliation stemming from one of the most regrettable decisions in rock music history. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, Fogerty was at the peak of his creative powers, churning out timeless classics that defined an era. Songs like Born on the Bayou, Green River, Bad Moon Rising, Fortunate Son, and Proud Mary weren't just hits. They were anthems that captured the spirit of American rock and roll, blending swampy rhythms with sharp social commentary. During that explosive period from 1969 to 1970, Creedence Clearwater Revival released album after album of pure gold, with Fogerty as the driving force behind nearly every note and lyric. He poured his soul into his work, often staying up through the night in a manic frenzy of inspiration, determined to rise above mediocrity and create something enduring. Yet, despite this incredible output and success, Fogerty found himself trapped in a suffocating contract with Fantasy Records, the label that had signed the band early on. The deal was notoriously one-sided, locking him into terms that stripped away much of his control and financial rewards. Desperate to break free and pursue his vision without the constant interference and constraints, Fogerty made a heartbreaking choice in 1980. He sold the rights to his entire song catalog to the label. It was the only escape route available at the time, a way to sever ties with a system that felt exploitative. In exchange for his freedom, he relinquished ownership of the very songs that had made him a legend. This wasn't just a business transaction, it was a gut-wrenching sacrifice that left him feeling utterly defeated. For the next half-century, Fogerty carried the weight of that decision like a shadow over his career. Every time a fan approached him on the street or at a concert, gushing about how Proud Mary had changed their life or become a staple at family gatherings, Fogerty would smile politely while inwardly cringing. He described it as feeling like a complete fool, a sap who had been tricked out of his life's work. The shame was palpable. He had not only lost creative control but also forfeited millions in royalties that continued to pour in from radio play, covers by other artists, like Tina Turner's iconic version of Proud Mary, and licensing deals for movies, commercials, and more. It was a constant reminder of vulnerability in the music industry, where young artists often sign away their futures without fully understanding the long-term consequences. Fogerty's drive during those early years was relentless. He wasn't content with being just another band. He wanted Creedence to stand among the greats, alongside the Beatles or the Rolling Stones. His manic dedication meant sacrificing sleep, relationships, and normalcy, all in pursuit of excellence. But the irony was bitter. The harder he worked, the more the label profited while he fought for scraps. Leaving the band in 1972 amid internal tensions only compounded the issue, as the catalog rights remained out of reach. Solo albums followed, with hits like Centerfield, but even those successes couldn't erase the sting of hearing his old Creedence songs everywhere without owning them. The turning point came in 2023, a full 50 years after the peak of Creedence's glory. After years of legal battles, negotiations, and sheer persistence, Fogerty finally regained a majority stake in the global publishing rights to the Creedence Clearwater Revival catalog. The buyer was Concord Records, which had acquired Fantasy Records years earlier. This acquisition wasn't cheap, it required significant financial investment, but for Fogerty it was priceless. The moment the deal closed, he felt an immediate surge of validation and self-worth. It was as if a massive burden had been lifted, restoring not just the rights but his dignity as an artist. To celebrate and solidify this reclamation, Fogerty embarked on a new project, re-recording many of his classic tracks. The result was the album Legacy, the Creedence Clearwater Revival years, a fresh take on the songs that defined his career. Since he still doesn't own the original master recordings, those remain with the label. These new versions allow him to perform and profit from his work in a way that feels authentic and empowering. It's a common strategy among artists who've lost rights. Think Taylor Swift's re-recordings, but for Fogerty, it's deeply personal. Performing these songs now brings joy instead of pain. They're truly his again. This story resonates far beyond Fogerty's personal triumph. It highlights the predatory practices that have plagued the music industry for decades, where labels exploit inexperienced musicians with unfair contracts. Many artists, from Prince to Michael Jackson, have fought similar battles, but Fogerty's 50-year ordeal stands out for its length and emotional toll. His victory serves as inspiration for younger generations, proving that persistence can eventually right even the most egregious wrongs. Today, at an age when many would retire, Fogerty tours relentlessly, playing those reclaimed songs to adoring crowds who now know the full backstory. The shame has transformed into pride, a testament to resilience in the face of adversity. Fogerty's reflections remind us of the human cost behind the glamour of rock stardom. What started as a young man's dream turned into a nightmare of lost control, only to circle back to redemption later in life. His journey underscores the importance of owning one's art, not just for financial reasons but for emotional and creative integrity. As he continues to write and perform, Fogerty ensures that his legacy is no longer in someone else's hands. It's firmly where it belongs, with the man who created it all those years ago in a flurry of nighttime inspiration.